What did you think of the seminar?
Oh, I think it's a great seminar. I'm a big fan of Bob Christ's. I subscribe to Outdoor Photography, and I read his column every month or when the magazine comes out. He's very effervescent and animated, and obviously has a lot of personality, and he'd be a great guy to lead a travel group. I think it would be a lot of fun traveling with him. The main thing I picked up was how to use a histogram and what that means. Because I've got a couple of digital SLRs, and I look at that histogram and I'm saying, you know, what in the world is this thing telling me? And I found out today.
Okay,
so it was
cool.
very helpful.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was a lot of information, filled in a lot of gaps in my knowledge, gave me some tips on things I need to do in the future. I'm ready to go home and play with my camera. I learned more about using my flash than I have known in the past. That was probably the biggest area where I gained some knowledge.
I really enjoyed the discussion on workflow. I thought it was very helpful for me. I'm getting ready to leave for a trip to Australia. I plan to use a lot of that. Backing up was really good technical information. Saving in TIFF instead of JPEG really was important. And love the multimedia section. Thought that would be really useful. I've got a couple of DVD shows and liked learning about new products that I can use in the future. That's good.
I thought it was a great session. I think that what they did that was really good is they would kind of show you the mistake that's common, and then they would show you exactly how to fix it. So it was very applied. They also had a lot of really good information on some of the new applications that are out. So web-based tools, multimedia, kind of new developments in cameras, processing, all those kinds of things. And then also very accessible to answer questions. They sat down with everybody during lunch, kind of available at all the breaks. At the end of the day, there's about a 20-30 minute session where they're happy to answer as many questions as everybody in the audience would like to ask. So very accessible, very usable, and just a really fun, interesting day.
So what do you think is the biggest thing that you learned that you're going to now incorporate into your own photography?
I learned a couple things. I think there's some pieces of equipment that I didn't know how to use properly. So specifically a wide-angle lens, I didn't realize all the applications for that. Secondarily, a flash. I'm using my flash wrong, and so I learned a lot of great things that will help me go out. I can't wait to get out this week and try and use my flash in a better way.
Great.
Oh, the seminar was great. Really enjoyed it. A lot of the material was stuff I hadn't necessarily seen before. Some of it was reviewed, but I think the multimedia things that they talked about were really different. Just the different ways that you can use your pictures. A lot of the stuff about portrait taking is what I will try to use. Taking pictures of people, and they talked about the difficulty of it. Less about the actual photographing of people than the, being involved in the scene, just talking to people and getting to know them so that they would relax enough with you in order to let you take their photograph.
I thought what was really good was the interaction during lunchtime, sitting with people and hearing different ideas and different stories from different seminars that they've been to. I found the stuff about using flash was very interesting. I've always avoided flash because I didn't think I was very good at it. I didn't think it was necessary. So I need to learn how to use my flash better and start with that.
It was absolutely fabulous, and one thing that was remarkable is people could understand, if they were good amateur photographers, they could understand absolutely everything. It was clear, it was detailed, the presentation of both of our wonderful hosts. It was so interesting, so inspiring, that you really feel like just going and traveling. It was one of the most interesting Sunday afternoons I could have imagined. And the leaders were both so talented, and they had been photojournalists for so many years that it was great to hear seasoned professionals. I think a lot of what I learned and what I'm, is the methodology, the techniques for taking photos, the slow sync, the methods of lighting, what you do in difficult situations. There were just a lot of methods that I hadn't known about to control light, and to make good compositions in your photos. They illustrated some of the rules, the common rules of photography, but also sometimes those rules can be broken in the right circumstances. Also, the idea of time when you take a photo in the day. Do you wake up at twilight? What's the light like? How do you work if, for instance, you're supposed to be photographing for July and you're sent out in the winter? What do? You can't just say, I'm sorry, there's snow on the ground, or I'm sorry people are wearing winter coats. What do? Well, these two wonderful men spoke of creative ways of handling that. How do they do this? I mean, National Geographic's going to publish their work in July, and they are out there, sent out in the winter, where people are wearing layers. So it was fascinating. You have to think on your feet. You have to find solutions. You can't just give excuses.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fascinating. I've been a journalist in print journalism. I was a dance critic for about 12 years, an arts critic. And so I understand some of those basics in journalism. You can't make excuses. You've got to think on your feet, and you still have to produce. But then transferring that to the idea of photography brought in all kinds of new considerations that I hadn't thought about.
I think the best part is the fact that they have done the transition from film to digital and into the next generation, which is media and multimedia, and for them to guide us that this is the next turn around the corner is exactly the kind of thing that we would expect a National Geographic seminar to teach us, and they're on the cutting edge, and that's why we're here.
And they were very funny too. They were very funny.